Thanks for watching the Carolina Justice Report. I'm Rainey Romero with the Lovely Law Firm. Today we're talking about a topic that has rocked our community, the Britnee Drexel case. Today I'm joined with attorneys Sarah Austin and Amy Lawrence. Ladies, lots to talk about here. This Britnee Drexel case has been huge in our area. So let's give a little bit of a backstory. Amy, I'll start with you. Kind of, for those, you probably know about Britnee Drexel, but just in case you don't, what do we know about her?
Right, so we know that Britnee Drexel in 2009 left home, said, I think she was saying that she was spending the night with a friend and came down to the beach with her to meet some of her friends, and her mom didn't know, thought she was, in town up in New York. And when she got down here, she went missing within 2 days of being here.
Yeah.
And no one ever found her. And, it rocked our community. There's still to this day billboards up in the Myrtle Beach area and Grand Street area, wanting to know information on Britnee Drexel. And, in the last couple years, we've gotten these weird press releases and press conferences that really didn't give us any answers, but it felt like they were getting close to them. And it was announced that they have found her body and they know who did it.
Yes.
And a man named Raymond Moody, who we know now was on the radar of the police when she went missing and was questioned about it back in 2009. And he was questioned about it because he had a history. He was in the area that they knew he was in the vicinity of this happening. And he had a history of kidnapping and sexually assaulting young girls.
Well, and I did see that they had already questioned him the same year that she had gone missing. And so is that why they questioned him? They didn't really have any evidence towards him. They just questioned him because he was...
From what I understand, it was
fit
his...
that profile?
Yeah, absolutely. He hit the profile and he was in the vicinity of where she was when she went missing.
How insane that they had the right person all along.
Yeah, and one of the things I think that the reason why they couldn't quite put it all together is because at the time he didn't have a car. He had a motorcycle. And that's why they couldn't quite piece it all together.
Interesting.
But we now know that he was actually buried. She was buried in
Georgetown.
In Pawleys Island.
Right, Georgetown
On his
County.
property,
On
right?
his property, in his side yard. And he comes from an affluent family from Pawleys Island, which is kind of insane to me.
Yeah, that is weird.
But he's done prison time for kidnapping and sexually assaulting.
And from what I understand, he did that time in California.
He did, yeah.
Was it federal or was it just in California?
In California.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the process of reading a book about his lover, his jail lover.
Yeah, his prison.
His prison husband.
Yeah, boyfriend.
Yeah.
And what is that book? Does that
So
bring light to anything?
I'm only a third of the way through. Yeah, it's called Lost and Found, and it's by Ernest Merchant, who is a really good guy who turned his whole life around. He got tied up in drugs. It was just drug stuff, and when he went to prison, they kind of found each other, and he never knew what he was in there for. Mr. Moody had lied to him, and so when he finally, a couple years into this prison sentence, he finds out what he was in there for, and he has this crisis of conscience, do we stay together? Do we not stay together? He ends up ultimately staying. They end up staying together. And he moves back after he gets out of prison, and Moody they all moved to Pawleys Island together.
Oh, wow.
And now he's a successful business person. He has a hair salon, does extremely well.
Oh, wow.
And everybody I know that knows him has really wonderful things to say about him.
So were they together when this happened?
No, they were not together. They've been broken up. But I'm in the middle of reading this book, so I'm excited. I'll give everybody a
This sheds a lot, I think,
411.
a lot of light on Raymond Moody. Because I don't know, when I think about Britnee Drexel, I think that's the first time I learned that pigs can eat a body, because everyone's like, they're never gonna find her.
Yeah.
Pigs ate her.
Alligators
She's
ate
gone.
her.
It was just Britnee Drexel is gone, and it was just focused on this one case. But now to know that Raymond Moody has been in our community
For all these
years, and all these women have been missing, and he's responsible for at least Britnee Drexel, and he confessed to that. It's really scary, and I think the book just kind of sheds light. I'm excited to read it. It will shed some light on who this person is and how do these people even operate, and how do they go undetected?
Yeah.
Well, and do you think that other women will come out during this? Do you think that there's been other women since Britnee Drexel? And that
we know about other cases where women have been there's been these attempted
Abducted.
abductions, and they've never really been able to piece back to who it was. And, going back to, so this was 2009, and I got out of law school in 2008. And my husband, Justin, used to laugh at me because I had a wall. I thought I was an FBI profiler, obviously. But I would keep these articles of women who went missing in our community, and they all had a very similar look. You know what I mean? They were all young. They all had long hair, thin, tall. Like, you know what I mean? They all had like this certain look, and I used to worry that we had a serial killer in our hands. Matter of fact, I've had conversations with solicitors about it.
Yeah.
Justin's always like, you should come look at her wall. I finally took it down. But we have women in this community, and so what people don't realize about Myrtle Beach is that we're extremely transient. We have about 40,000 people in the area, permanent residents. Maybe it's a lot more since the boom and COVID and all that stuff in the last couple of years. But we have all these people who come in and out, and they're never really accounted for, and they go missing. And so, we don't know. We don't know how many women could be out there. I hope there's none. I hope there's zero.
I hope Britnee Drexel was it, but
Yeah.
this guy who has done this before, I don't get the feeling that she's his only victim.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder about everyone else who's gone missing.
Because we've had women come forward from California to tell their stories about what happened to them, and as little girls. And from what I understand, there were 7 that we know of, and they started telling their stories, and it breaks my heart for Britnee Drexel, and it breaks my heart for her family and her mother, that they have, to think about this happening to their baby. That's just the worst.
Yeah.
When life gets ugly, justice is lovely, the lovely